Matt was talking about going upstairs with you in the off season and going over routes and looking at film. I asked if some were Kelsey, and you smiled and said yeah. But can you tell us what receivers or what tight ends they were, and kind of what you learned from those sessions?
Yeah, well, obviously, Coach worked with Travis back in Kansas City, and that's kind of what he's familiar with, and the play style that I kind of have looked after in my college days has always been like Bavaro types, Gronkowski types. So kind of meshing those two types of play styles together has been really beneficial for me this offseason. So we watched a ton of Kelsey tape when he was back in Kansas City on certain concepts, and watching Gronk tape, how he uses his body, things like that. So, with my size and, the way I'm able to move, I got to figure out what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, and how can I, get better at those, get better at those strengths and, maximize those weaknesses.
Have you watched Mark Bavaro tape?
In college, I did actually. Yeah, Notre Dame. So it's part of like the rite of passage, Yeah, but Bavaro. Yeah, so grainy tape, but it's good tape.
With the uncertainty of offensive tackle this year, has there been any emphasis from the coaches to you about pass pro this year?
No, I mean, whatever's expected, I mean, the play's call, I got a pass pro, I'm pass pro. I mean, that hasn't really just, been a point of emphasis necessarily for me, by the coaches. But, they know what I can do in pass protection, and I think I do a pretty good job at that. So when my number's called to do that type of stuff, I'm totally willing to do that.
We haven't talked to you since you went down to summer school at tight end U. I'm curious how you got enrolled, first of all, and then second of all, what your takeaways were from that whole experience.
Yeah, so starting with back during the combine, before I was drafted, Greg Olson was doing a podcast deal, and he reached out to me, and we kind of had some mutual friends that he reached out through, and he wanted to finish the podcast. He started with Ditka and kind of worked himself all the way up, and it was a pretty cool podcast if you haven't checked it out. But so he hit me up, and then George and Travis hit me up, a little later on. They're like, hey, leave these dates open, and we're going to try and get something in where we get a bunch of guys together. And I was like, hey, I'm fair game if we end up doing that. And they were able to put together after the OTA schedule was kind of released. So, that was really cool. One of the coolest things I've done, and get around all those guys. And, it's interesting, like, usually on a team you have, one tight end, two tight ends maybe. And to get everyone together like that was really cool, just to kind of feed off of everybody else and see what other guys are doing. And, like for me, watching receivers is nice, but, I can't do the stuff that Darnell Mooney does. I'm just not that fast. So being able to go, get guys like Mike Gesicki and, Hunter Henry and Travis and George and Greg and learn from those guys, that's really beneficial for me, and that really helped a lot.
Something specific that you pulled from a specific guy or something that you came away from that week saying,
yeah, I think a big thing with Travis is, don't run the line of the book, and that's a big deal with him. He's like, stay on the quarterback's timing and be where you have to be, but, be creative with your routes. Just as long as you're on that quarterback's timing and you get in the right spot and you're open, I mean, no one's going to say anything. So those are kind of the things I took from, and, releases and things like that, were definitely beneficial.
Kind of going off that, we saw you talking to Andy Dalton after a play, I think, during 7-on-7s. I'm curious what it's been like to have those conversations on the field and connect with the guy who's got 10 years of NFL quarterback experience.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, Andy, he gets the ball out quick, and get on the same page with him has been big, through the OTA period, and now going into camp. We have this time now before our true week one, where we get all this time to get that timing down and things like that, and really looking forward to see how that goes over the course of the camp.
In what ways, I know it's only been a couple days, but in what ways have you noticed that training camp is beneficial for you compared to what was happening last year, where you guys just kind of came in blind and had a shortened?
Yeah, I mean, it was weird. I mean, first of all, you didn't have an OTA period, and I got a lot out of the OTAs this past summer, and and I think just the confidence level coming in right now and knowing where I stand and what I can do on the field and what I'm capable of is a big deal, and just gaining trust of Andy has been big. So definitely a different feel, a little more normal right now. Not everyone's wearing masks, and you can be close together. You can talk over things. So it's been good and refreshing to have that this year.
When you reflect on a very bizarre rookie season for you, what did you take away from that and gives you that confidence heading into year two?
Yeah, I think I was really thankful for my first year, obviously, and learned a lot. It was looking back on it, it's a tough year. I mean, really tough. I mean, you go all day here and you can't go see anybody. You know, it's not that I was afraid to get sick. It just you can't test. I don't want to test positive and miss a game. You know, so, and that was every day from July 27th last year to January 11th, where you're testing and going home and not really seeing anybody, and so it was tough. But it really makes you appreciative of what's happening now, and being able to be around the guys and see more of your family now and all that stuff. So it's been good.
Cole, you mentioned your confidence going back to that tight end camp. Did you feel sort of like you belonged with those guys and you're developing towards that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, everyone there was awesome, and being able to feed off of one another was great. So I got a lot out of it, and definitely felt like I belonged there for sure.
Did you guys socialize at night?
There were some social events at night that were pretty fun.
Fellowship? What was
Just fellowship. That's all. It was a great time.
What was it like just being able to get to know some of these guys as guys?
Yeah, no, that was great. I mean, it's funny how similar we all really are. A lot of us kind of have the same type of background, same type of personality, and same type of whether it's a play style or things like that. A lot of common things between one another. That was really cool to see.
Well, you're still relatively new here, and I know it's just the second day of camp, but can you see areas of growth, signs of growth for this offense at this point, or is it just kind of hope at this point? Are there legitimate things you see that, as an offense, you can just get better?
Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, you're going to see, it's going to be funny, like, whenever you look at the film from day one to, day, 30 of camp, whatever it is, and you'll see a huge transition, I think, and I think you'll see the chemistry between the offensive line, Andy, and the receivers and tight ends really come together, over the course of the next month or so. So, there's a lot of growth to be had, and I think that's really exciting for everybody.
In regards to the ability to just do more this year, how much does that help the connection, I guess, just between teammates, between guys on the offense, et cetera, just to be able to actually connect more this year than you were a year ago?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Coming from Notre Dame, we're really big in like the fellowship stuff, and that's something that's important to me, to get to know my teammates, and that's how I build trust with people on the field. So I think the OTA period was awesome, and we were able to go out and do some things. Finally, go to dinner with guys, things just like that. Go to the offensive line dinners, like things like that have been great, and just makes you more thankful for those type of things.
Cole, one of the weird parts, obviously, last year was not having any fans at training camp. What was it like just to have a few hundred out there and the atmosphere that maybe they created for you guys?
Yeah, no, it was cool. I mean, definitely good to have fans back, and obviously I'm sure they're really excited. So, fun for us, just kind of gives us a little more energy when late in practices and things like that. But, definitely exciting, and looking forward to fans in the stadium as well.
Any Cole Kmet jerseys you notice?
I wasn't looking up today. Man, I should have checked it out.
When tight ends get together, what's their biggest gripe? Like, wide receiver get all the money, or quarterback never sees me. What's the tight end's lament?
So what's our gripe?
Yeah, is there a lament when a group gets together like this?
Jeez, I don't know. We're just all guys looking to have fun, man. So, I don't know. We don't really worry about that stuff.
You mentioned that ability to kind of improv your routes along the timing's okay. Andy's real high on anticipating which throws. How's that timing been for you guys?
It's been great. I mean, first day when I was out there throwing with Andy, we were kind of off campus throwing, and there were plenty of balls that were hitting me in the face to start, which is good, and so you just learn you got to get your head around quick, and the ball's gonna be on you. So that's been awesome, to just kind of building that trust and building, that chemistry has been great. So looking forward to all that, and it's just only going to progress as camp goes on.
What did you learn about David Montgomery last year?
I love David. David, he's awesome to play with, and when he's in the backfield, he's gonna run his ass off. So in return, you got to block your ass off. So he's a great leader. He's not overly vocal by any means, but he's gonna fight for every yard, and that's something as blockers you love to have in the backfield.
He's talked about wanting to be a better leader. You obviously just mentioned that. What is it about him that makes him a quality leader?
He cares about everybody. I think that's number one, and number two, he he just works. He comes to work every day. And I think those are just two things that you can see in a person and a player and know that, you can give it all for him on the field.
We heard Matt and Ryan Pace say the other day that we're going to use Cole more. Did they tell you that kind of at the end of the season last year? And what's it like to know that you're going to be incorporated into this offense even more?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't necessarily, come out and say that to me last year, but I think that's something that have built, in OTAs and continue to build during camp. You just got to build. This is a trust game, so you got to build trust with the coaches and the coaches and the other players. So that's just something I'm going to continue to do, and I'm going to work my butt off during practice and show them that they can trust me in big situations and get open when I need to get open.
Thanks, Cole.